This is my trade recap for Thursday, January 29th. This morning we were, this is NQ. We were pretty overbought. We had just swept both of these internal highs. ES had swept this high here. We had, on the lower time frame, we had a smaller SMT. We had lows, these lows down here, and we have this 4-hour gap towards EQ, or towards EQ of this range, pretty much at equilibrium. There's not much else below equilibrium, so I was very bearish coming into the morning with the large SMT, this internal SMT. Coming into the morning, we started to put in this SMT. ES was consistently taking these highs in the morning, and ES was not. And then we had news here at 8:30, and that had a data low here. And so I was waiting for manipulation of these highs to target this low or this low or this low. But my external draw was these lows and this 4-hour gap at 9:30, or earlier in the morning. We had created this 15-minute right here, and then right after creating that, we tapped it and then went to the downside, and there was not a single inversion because it was so fast. And we just started going down and down and down, and we ended up taking this low, and then we took this next low. Okay, yeah, so after we had taken all of these lows, I was still confident that we wanted to take this 4-hour fair value gap. We tapped this 3-minute, and I think we filled it. We filled this 3-minute with a pretty nice wick, and we created a nice 1-minute fair value gap, and we inversed it very cleanly. And so I entered. I exited extremely quickly because the reason I took this on MNQ was because the risk on NQ was way too much for me. So I dropped down to MNQ and I bought, I can't remember, but I usually trade 1 or 2 on NQ, but I took like 2 to 4 contracts on MNQ. I can't remember. Yeah. But anyway, I exited quickly because ES formed, or I could just look. ES had taken the low pretty quickly right here. It was probably at the same time, actually, now that I'm looking at it. But I was watching ES and I saw it take the low, so I just exited. But it looks like it wicked back up, and that's why my exit was like right here. So it wasn't great, but I think the 1-to-1 played out. No, not before break even. So I would have gotten break even, but I just exited at the once this was taken because there wasn't another low right here, so I didn't really have a point to hold it. And then and I'll show my executions after this. And then on NQ we had touched the fair value gap, and then we'd created a 5-minute, or yes, we'd created a 5-minute and we had tapped it. I wanted to take longs because obviously there's not much else down here to short for, but we had just tapped it and we had tapped this 5-minute and inversed this 30-second, and I actually had good risk to reward, and this was the first time that I had good risk to reward like all morning, so I just took it because the risk to reward was good. It had really good structure. It wasn't a terrible place in price. We didn't just sweep a low. If we had just swept a low, then like a full swing low, not this little one, then I wouldn't have taken this. But because it was just a fair value gap, and not like a swing low like this. I felt comfortable taking it. We also had a lot more for this fair value gap to fill, and we had these relatively equal lows, or not equal lows, but we had these stacked lows below the entry, and I think ES had equal lows. Yeah, ES had equal lows below the entry as well. So actually I can show that right here. Yeah, so I entered right after this inversion, and ES had equal lows right below the entry. So I felt really confident taking this, and then I had to take advantage of the RR because it was way better than the last one. And the risk on NQ was good, so I had to take this, and it played out. I exited at the SMT. This one did create a divergence because it was on a higher time frame, and so it wasn't like, you know, exact same time. But this one, it didn't matter anyway, but I still do it just because it's a good habit. So let me show my executions. Oh wait, to exit this. This is where I entered right here. Then I exited right there. And then on M and Q, yeah. So I entered right after that inversion and exited right after the sweep of this low. And that's it. I wanted to take a long after we tapped this 4 hour, because structure looked really good, where we tapped an external low, and then we swept both of these lows, and then we inversed this fair value gap here. Erase this. We got a really clean inversion of this 1 minute, and so this looked really good, and we didn't have any other targets below us. However, I didn't take this, and I'm glad it didn't play out, because we just tapped a 5 minute, and I'm pretty sure there's a 15 minute here as well that we just put in, and we had a huge wick. So, or actually that wick might be from this going down. Yeah, okay, so that wasn't at the entry. Yeah, so we did have the 15 minute, but we had just tapped a 5 minute, and we were in this wick, and so I don't want to enter and then be in a 5 minute with, you know, a 0.2 RR. I'd have to go break even like right here, which isn't great, but then there's no external target. I'm just trading, or going break even right after a trade right after an entry is fine, but I just don't want to hold the trade through a 5 minute when price all morning is dumping. So, you know, regardless of where we are, I don't want to be in denial, you know, for what price is doing. I can't just say, oh, we're hitting a fair value gap and we inverse the fair value gap. I want to go long. Like, okay, but be realistic. Price is dumping all morning. What do you think it's going to do? There's no news or anything to turn it around. So like, why would it? So yeah, I didn't take it. Also, look at that. I did not blow the account. I didn't even take a loss. Alpha Futures closed my account, so this is a new one. I wish I could prove that I didn't blow it, but Alpha Futures has erased all evidence of my previous account. How convenient for me. But yeah, haven't had a loss on this either. These are the first 2 trades I've taken on this, so it's obviously 50k. 3k is my target, so almost a third of the way there. But yeah, that was a fun day. I was over halfway to my target last time, so yeah, anyway, that is it.